taking shots at the enemy. I'm gonna make it to the top, leave a legacy. If I got something to say, you better let me speak. Turn it up a new degree, bitch, you ain't seen anything. I pop off with the new rock, electronic, blow the sonic roof up. I'm too honest when I take a few shots. They're too toxic, need to take the noose off. And you cannot save me, 'cause I don't need saving. It's everything I've been chasing, all here for the taking. Don't wanna test your luck with me, I think I've had enough disease. I'm sick of all the bad thoughts, people who are half-nots. You are not as tough as I'm back, you know that I never left. I got tracks and some music that you never guessed. I don't slack, don't lose, learn your lesson yet. When I get to choose what I do, I'm like a weapon. I'm not sharp as many, but got heart. I'm ready to change scars to envy, to win large and plenty. I like to play fast, never change back. Calling out, I'll pay back, 'cause I'm great at that. Oh, you cannot save me, 'cause I don't need saving. It's everything I've been chasing, all here for the taking. Don't wanna test your luck with me, I think I've had enough disease. I'm sick of all the bad thoughts, people who are half-nots. You are not as tough though. Don't wanna test your luck with me, I think I've had enough disease. I'm sick of all the bad thoughts, people who are half-nots. You are not as tough as me. Don't wanna test your luck with me, I think I've had enough disease. I'm sick of all the bad thoughts, people who are half-nots. You are not as tough as me. Ain't no motherfucker in this world could do it like me. Open up your eyes and insert a little rising. You don't have to love me, you don't have to like me. Got enough love in myself, in my psyche. You should have the same in your brain nightly. If you wanna taste, bitch, you can fucking try me. If you wanna hate, bitch, you know where to find me. And if you go and hate this, you can fucking bite me. I'll be cruising in my lane fast, call it high speed. I've been working hard, yeah, I've been working nightly. If you think you'll win, ha, not fucking likely. I be taking shots, yeah, cold-blooded, icy. Watching numbers grow is what I call sightseeing. In the front row, run it up when they hype me. The following grows, they know how to ignite me. Call me CEO, I've been running shit right, see. And I ain't playing games, I create my own lane, making pleasure out of pain, turning losses into gains, I'm the boss, I'm making change. I've been rocking this exchange, popping off and risking things, gonna make a fucking name. I just wanna be famous, but I don't want that cheap fame. No, I'm not that vain, I just wanna be greatness. 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 Ain't no motherfucker in this world could do it like me. Open up your eyes and insert a little rising. You don't have to love me, you don't have to like me. Got enough love in myself, in my psyche. You should have the same in your brain nightly. If you wanna taste, bitch, you can fucking try me. If you wanna hate, bitch, you know where to find me. And if you go and hate this, you can fucking bite me. Okay, I'm going off every chance I get. I don't really take a loss, well, I'll admit. That's why I'll make it to the...
Hello? Are you excited? Are you excited for the Godlike Smite Draft League draft? We're here. We're excited. It's an honor to be hosting this as we embark on another exciting season of the Smite Draft League. Between gameplay, unforgettable moments, and handsome and gorgeous players, the Godlike division, formerly Premier, is sure to be the most exciting showcase of all the talent that we have. I am Anthony Malum. I'll be taking you through the majority of this night, and alongside me, helping me out, is going to be Kingfisher, Cub and running cameras and keeping everything organized and gorgeous is I, Nublet. Without waiting any longer, let's start talking team names. All right. Hey, Kingfisher. Hey, Cub. Are you guys excited as you can possibly be for the Godlike draft?
I am so excited. We've been waiting over 2 weeks and having so many cool scouting ground games. I mean, the talent's been on full display, and tonight we're finally gonna see just how much that impacted their draft stock. But Cub, what about you?
Yeah, no, I gotta echo everything you just said there, Kingfisher. I am so excited to see what these teams can do, but also behind the scenes, a lot of players don't get to see it. The captains kind of been talking trash on each other. There's some rivalries already in the making. I can't wait to get into it.
And that's the most exciting part, not just the talent of our community, but the players at the heart of it. So let's stop waiting for the fun stuff. Let's start talking team names. The captain you see in the top left of your screen, Power ST2, will be the captain of Team Dark Omen. There's the thunderous applause in your head you've been waiting for. And let's stop waiting for number 2. Tomcat will be the captain of Team Oath Keepers. Coming up third, running it back after winning the Premier Championship last season, Spooks will be the team captain of Eclipse. Sandman Sam putting down the Wrath of Terra mantle will be picking up the fiery mantle of Wild Inferno. Let's get a little more pretty, a little more dignified. Let's be a bit divine. No, let's be a bit sanctified with value. Is there any Persephone stands in the house? If you say no, you're lying. Miggy will be captain of Team Flourish. I hope you don't know any royalty. I hope you're not a fan of the royal family, because Key is running Team King Slayers. And finally, one of the nicest and most active captains in the Discord, with the team name for my favorite character, we've got Zombie on the Sunbreakers! And with that, we've got our team names. Let's not wait any more. Power ST2 is now on the clock. King, Cub, let's talk about what we might see here for the first pick. Who do you guys have in mind?
I think in terms of players, it's a little bit hard to say. There's so many good, talented players. I know we've been talking behind the scenes though, and this season especially. Solo and jungle are just two of the strongest roles in the game right now. I wouldn't be surprised at all to see most of the first, second, possibly even third round picks go into those players.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm just gonna completely echo what he said. I think jungle right now is such a dominant role. I would not be surprised by any means to see a jungler, and we have so many good junglers this season. We have, Teddy, Light Tunnel, people were throwing on crazy performances in scouting grounds. So I 100% think probably a jungler going, maybe a mid laner. Who really knows?
Yeah, and they've got 2 minutes to select, so we're already coming up on the end of the clock, and we are just waiting for the draft. I think you guys have echoed everything. There's a lot of value. You've got to be careful which roles you pick, because the tough part about being picked number 1 is it means you got to wait till pick 16. So you've got to be safe. But with that, it looks like we do have the first overall selection just about ready to go. Power ST2, captain of Team Dark Omen, has selected the number 1 pick overall for Season 2 of the Godlike Division, Rat Milk. What do you guys think of this draft? And let's start with the EU Prince, King Jeffrey.
Ooh, and the very first drafted player for you will be Red Milk. No surprises there. I think most of us will remember him from last year, absolutely destroying in the finals, especially that last game. No surprise there. Great pick, great player.
All right, guys, give me your initial reactions to Rat Milk being the number 1 overall selection while we wait for Tomcat to get his number 2 pick in.
I mean, I don't think it's all that surprising. Definitely one of the top junglers on the board. I know we were already talking about that role and just how much it is in the limelight. And I think coming off season one, also, he was our season one MVP for the Premier Division, already brings a lot of experience, and especially in draft leagues like this, getting players in who know how it works, who knows how the season process go along, it's going to help a lot of the players that maybe didn't originate from here. So for so many reasons, I really, really like this pick.
Yeah, true that, true that. And also power just being, I believe, a mid lane main. Why wouldn't you want a strong jungler just right off the bat? Like, you gotta have that synergy. You know, it's the very first fights that happen in the game a lot of the time in this meta right now. And so, yeah, just overall great pick overall.
It is without a doubt, honestly. And I think one of the craziest things about Rat Milk that people forget is that Rat Milk last season with Eclipse, that was a pretty stacked roster that we had take the Premier Championships, and somehow Rat Milk was able to stand out above the rest and take MVP for the finals, which is kind of insane to even try to put into your brain and wrap your head around. The performances were out of this world. I mean, the Pele almost single-handedly brought them to the finals. So I'm curious, Cub, do you think that junglers being the first selection is going to be continue to be a theme? Do you think we might see a bit of a change to maybe support with how this season's trying to be? Maybe go a little bit out of the box. What do you expect to see?
Yeah, as we all know, it's a bit of a tank meta, and tank items are so strong, mitigation builds are strong. But I do know this, that we only have a couple jungle mains in the whole captain list, and I think that with players like Value that just can dominate the jungle, you're gonna want to keep up with Value. So I think these jungle picks are gonna keep coming. But like you said, it's a tank meta. Like I said, it's a tank meta. So I really can't predict these captains, especially because they just have more wrinkles on their brain than I do.
Wrinkles all over, but thankfully we don't have to wait to find out the answer, at least for the time being, because pick number 2 has come in. Tomcat, team captain of the Oathkeepers, takes for selection number 2, Valo. All right, Jeffrey, what's the reaction to Valo?
First pickup then will be Valo. No surprises there. A player who describes himself as a lane bully and a shot caller, always pretty important. And well, in this case, it's actually more of a jungle bully than a lane bully, and we can see why.
We can see why. Cub, do you echo that sentiment? Do you think that being the lane bully here, Valo, full of tons of clips and some crazy plays that we've seen make it even onto the SPL Twitter, do you think that's a great selection for number 2? How are you feeling about it?
I think it's a great selection. I've always considered myself a pretty good jungler, and I had the pleasure of jungling against Valo not too long ago. Was I 0-12? Maybe. Was he very good? Maybe. I think really good pick overall.
And Kingfisher, how are you feeling about it too?
I mean, I think Cub covered it pretty well. We've talked about junglers are going to be really high in the meta. Obviously, Valo, still one of the top ones. There's a lot left on the board, but definitely hard to argue with the value he's going to bring to the team. And I also believe Tomcat is probably going to be playing ADC for this team, if I'm remembering correctly what his roles are. So having a good jungler like that, it's going to give you worlds of confidence in that duo lane and allow him to make the play calls that he wants to as captain.
For sure. I mean, Valo has one of my favorite Smite gurus that we've looked at of all these players throughout scouting grounds. It's nasty. I mean, the statistics there between the playtime on Thor, Thanatos, but what strikes me as interesting is just there's a big mixture of characters, which tells me that the game knowledge is off the charts, which is what you want as a jungler. But I think pretty quickly, the champion captain from season 1 on Eclipse has their pick ready. So with that, I'm not going to make you wait any longer. Eclipse takes, with the 3rd pick in the draft, Tegvir. Jeffrey, take it away.
As we get our first choice pick here from Team Eclipse, and it will actually be Tegvir. Ooh, that's a great choice indeed. I think for me the most memorable play from Tegvir must be the Tsukiyomi jungle. I think they had like 12 kills in that game. And if I remember by head, like them getting the first 3 kills of their team. I don't think of the game, but of their team, saving either their solo or mid laner for a little while. They did fall down, but still shows you great plays and dominance as they run down the rest of that game and went on to win it.
The Tsukuyomi and Scouting Grounds was certainly one of the most impactful performances. Sam and Sam, start writing with your pencil. You're up next. But until then, Kingfisher, walk me through the Tegvir pick.
Yeah, and I think Jeffrey did cover it really well, especially at the end there, bailing out the solo, having a jungle with really, really good map awareness, not scared to rotate around, be where they need to be. It's going to be really important, not just in this meta, but any meta. I mean, having a jungler like that lets up so much pressure on the rest of your team, especially in a league like this where everybody in every role just makes so many good plays all the time.
And Cub, are you feeling the same way? You guys have been echoing each other quite a bit, but I'm curious if it's the same thing here for the Tegvir pickup after the impactful Scouting Grounds.
Honestly, at this point, I'm not sure that 40 junglers aren't going to get picked up. So yeah, Tegvir, a great player. Like we saw there, he's got a deep god pool to make Tsukuyomi look good, who I don't consider a top pick. Tsukuyomi's just a mechanical god, and it shows that he's got that prowess to just carry a game.
All right, and these picks are flying through. Wild Inferno, Sandman Sam. Does the theme continue with the fourth selection in the Godlike draft? We've got Baronary. Jeffrey, what do you think of Bebe?
As we actually got powerhouse skillful mid laner, Baronary, with gods like, well, Merlin, Hel, Scylla to his arsenal. Decent pick. Pretty, actually, it will be more than decent. Pretty good pick. A mechanical god? What else do you want?
Picking a mechanical god in the fourth pick? You heard it from Jeffrey himself. All right, Kingfisher, do you echo the mechanical god sentiment? That's quite the tall order to fit.
I mean, definitely really, really strong showing in the Scouting Grounds. I think, funnily, one of the first non-junglers off the board, I believe Baronary prefers mid lane, if I'm not getting that wrong. So definitely now we're starting to see the captains maybe vary a little in their preferences. So going to be really interesting to see how these team comps and picks behind are going to open up because of it.
I definitely agree with that. And Cub, we're starting to see, I mean, you said it best, there's going to be 40 junglers picked, but like Kingfisher pointed out, that's a mid laner. So do you think what is starting to happen is some of the junglers are being taken away? Or is this a planned strategy? What kind are you feeling so far as we wait for Value's pick to come in?
Yeah, honestly, a bit of both. I think those top junglers, they're just simply a cut above, and I hope people prove me wrong in saying that. And I hope I'm not offending anyone in saying that. But Rat Milk, Valo, and Tegvir just so insane. But Bayron is cracked out of his mind. I saw him on a Hell game, and I was like, ooh, a Hell pick right now. Like I know Hell's strong, but like if you're not, I always thought of it as a comp only pick. And in Scouting Grounds, where you haven't played with the team for a very long time, it's hard to make Hell work. He made it work. And then he had a Merlin game, and it was just effortless for him. He's just mechanically cracked, and I think it's just a great pick overall.
For sure. I mean, you could see it today with the flick one hit Hell. It was kind of insane as we wait for Value's pick to come in, and it looks like we're ready for that pick to be revealed. Value and Sanctifieds. Their first selection, 5th overall, is Heed. Jeffrey, talk about Heed.
As we're looking here at Sanctified, and yes, they will also confirm their first pick, as it will be Heed. Pretty solid, pretty good. It's someone who can hold their ground even in a match while they're losing. Has a good opportunity to stay cool. Great player, solo or jungler. Good choice.
Good choice indeed, Jeffrey. So, Kingfisher, we heard Jeffrey mention solo. Heed is listed as solo jungle. That means it's one of the first solos that's gotten selected. Take us through it.
I mean, not really surprising to me. As much as we've talked about the junglers, solo laners can absolutely run the game too, thinking of all the Shivas that are just out there 1v5ing as we speak. And in my mind, he definitely the most mechanically gifted solo laner that was in this set. A lot of strong ones, but a really good pick. And also being able to flex into the jungle, it's going to be a good buffer as more of these captains set to pick up junglers.
Yeah, for sure. I'd be, anything's possible. I'd certainly be surprised to see anything but a jungler come up here soon. But as the picks are flying through, it looks like Miggy Miggy, can't you see? You're not going to make me wait, baby. We've got another pick coming in. It's number 6. Flourish selects Anxious. Jeffrey, what do you think?
Now looking at Team Flourish, as they actually decide to go for a support in their first pick, as Anxious will be picked up. Someone who describes himself as they like, well, tanky gods with a lot of CC, and in their favorites they actually have Hell and Aphrodite. I am so excited to see this. Great pickup, and a support in your first pick, that shows confidence in a player, because usually supports get picked up last, second to last. Props.
Props indeed. I'm borderline in shock. Fish, that was the last thing that we expected to see, was a support be take. I don't have words. Can you find them for me?
I honestly love that. I think while it's not a jungler, it's not a solo, I believe Miggy already plays jungle, if not ADC. So regardless, with that support, he's either getting himself a really, really stacked lane or a really, really good mid 3v3. Either way, it's going to be strong, and supports especially can translate to the late game really well. So having somebody in that position that's all around and can really carry your team when you need them to is never a bad decision, in my opinion.
Cub, you're somebody who blames their KDA on their supports. What do you think about a support going here at pick 6?
I think Anxious is more than just a support, honestly. I'm not sure where Miggy wanted him, but I think it's a good pick regardless. I will say this, just going to throw some shade at Anxious here. He likes Heed so much that he actually named himself in-game Heed 2. So maybe he's a little bit worried about who Value picked round 1 there.
That is going to be interesting to see as the season unfolds, without a doubt, really. And I am seeing some interesting stuff, so I'm not going to make anybody wait any longer as Quay's selection has come in. And if you watched Scouting Grounds, then boy, will Kingslayers, they're going to excite you. We've got pick number 7, Light Tunnel. Jeffrey, talk about the Shiva game.
And our first rated pick from Team Kingslayers then will be Light Tunnel. I think the most memorable part of Scouting Grounds of Light Tunnel must be the 18-0 in 10 Shiva jungle with the mitigation build. Being able to hold off about the entire team, zoning perfectly under the Phoenix, like making sure they get the bird for free, even though they're all alive. Absolutely unkillable, got 18 kills, shows they're very adaptable.
That Shiva game was one of the most secondhand tilting things that I've ever seen in my life with the mitigation build. As we wait for Zombie's pick to come through, Cub, can you try to make some sense of what we saw Light Tunnel do in their Scouting Grounds game?
Dude, I mean, I already talked about wrinkly brains, but this dude takes it a whole nother level. Like, he's got 2 wrinkly brains, the most wrinkled. Like, he soaked his brain in salt water, and it's just got so many wrinkles. The dude's genius. I was watching this game just yesterday, their set, and I talked to my other league coordinator Nathan, and there's just this funny image of his Shiva walking at 5 of the other team, and they were running away from him. I don't know what's going on there, but the dude is clearly a very good player, and I'm just really excited to see if he keeps up that sort of dominance in regular season here.
Yeah, if it happens, I think we're all going to be in shock. Fish, what would you have to add on to this?
I mean, to be fair, any jungler that can really 1v5 a team without even having to throw an ability definitely gonna be an impact on your team. It is another jungle pick. I don't think we saw that coming, but definitely one of the best ones that are still on the board. We saw so many picks early on, but to get a player of Light Tunnel's caliber at pick 7, it's a steal. I mean, I don't think there's another way to put it.
Yeah, I agree. We're gonna have to see if pick number 8 is a steal as we head into our wraparound here for the Sunbreakers. With pick number 8, we've got Teddy 522. Jeffrey, tell us what it do.
Ooh, first choice pick from the Sunbreakers coming through, and it will be Teddy 522. We gotta talk about the Al Quang coming through. I do believe they went 23 and 10 by the top of my head. getting an early lead, and well, they do describe themselves as someone who likes to snowball. I just don't think Ao Kuang is the strongest in the early game. They are a very good late game god, but well, they pulled it off and they absolutely carried. Great pick.
I do remember that Ao Kuang game as being one of the nastier games, and Teddy had quite a scouting grounds, was able to get in a ton of games and be impactful in all of them. We may not have long until pick number 9 comes out, but Fisher, tell me what you think about Teddy getting selected here.
I mean, I think Jeffrey covered it really well. Ao Kuang, not really the first person you think about the first few levels. Oh, they're gonna dominate. I think what he was 3-0, a minute and a half in, 2 minutes in, something crazy like that. And any jungler with an impact that early in the game, just knowing how stacked they can get late game, an all-around player like that really, really helps any team comp.
And like I said, we don't have to wait long. We actually, before we even have to hear from Cub, we've got pick number 9 ready to go. The Sunbreakers select with pick number 9 of the Godlike draft, Emoji Daddy. Jeffrey, let us hear it. Oh, excuse me, there is no Jeffrey for this. That's my bad. I got so used to hearing the little EU Prince's voice. Ugh, am I the only one? I can't be the only one. But Cub, take me through Emoji Daddy. Fill the role that Jeffrey has left in our hearts.
I shall try my best to do that. I'm not gonna do the cool accent. I'm just gonna talk like a cub tends to talk. But
Do it.
Emoji Daddy and Teddy, I kind of want to touch on both of these. I'm gonna touch on Teddy first, actually. He is obviously a great jungler. He had some really crazy performances. But what strikes me the most about Teddy is he's just a calm and collected player. I've watched some of his streams. I've watched some of his clips, and every single clip, the dude has the most laser focused, like just calm demeanor I've ever seen, regardless of the situation. And I think that really translates well into competitive play. You got to be able to keep calm in even the hardest situations. And then rolling over to Emoji Daddy, one of the strongest mid laners of last season. I've seen this guy all over comp. I feel like anywhere I go on the comp scene, I see Emoji Daddy. I don't know how he has the time for it, but obviously the time that he puts into Smite is well worth it because he is such a good mid laner, and I can't wait to see him in Season 2 of Smite Draft League.
Going off that, let's see who else we will be seeing in the season 2 of this My Draft League. Kingslayers on the clock for number 10 has selected Astro. And what a nasty pick it is. Kingfisher filling that role that Jeffrey's left. Astro going number 10. Shocking, but awesome pickup for Kingslayers. Walk us through it.
Yeah, it definitely is, and we're gonna see another solo laner off the board. Also a really, really strong competitor, and paired up with Light Tunnel, especially, and considering that Q there is a support, that is a strong, strong frontline, strong dive. I think same thing that the Sunbreakers just did, getting their mid 3v3 first. These teams are really doing a good job of shoring up the players that are going to be playing closest together, making sure they draft them high, get that synergy flowing. I really, really like this pick for the Kingslayers.
Cub, how are you feeling about the Astro pickup at number 10? I'm almost surprised Astro fell this far down, but solo lane is a bit of a different take this season, but I'm curious to hear your thoughts.
Yeah, I agree with that. I'm kind of surprised he went this long without being picked. This guy just commands respect in the solo lane. I've seen him on Kraken. I've seen him on various like what Guardian solo lanes, and the dude just eats up so much space. He gladly 1v3s. I had the pleasure of watching him while I was waiting for him to get in one of my games. He just plays so well, and his macro is so good. I mean, I'm gonna say this about every guy on this list, every person on this list, but great pick overall.
All right. We've got pick number 11 rolling in. Flourish selects I Smug. Kingfisher, tell me about the smuggy lad.
I mean, it's definitely interesting to see. I think this is our first player off the board that's just like a devout backliner, ADC mid as the primary roles, paired already up with Anxious, a really, really good support. It should make for a really strong duo lane, so I definitely like that pick by Flourish. And apparently he plays everything, so really nice to have a versatile ADC like that. It can get overlooked a lot in the meta we're in right now, but definitely can't be understated how important ADCs are still going to be.
As we wait for selection number 12, Cub, give us your thoughts on iSmug.
Yeah, Smug is another player I recently had the pleasure of playing with, and one thing I noticed about him is even though our team was losing, thanks to Valo, respectively. He was beating me up. Smug stayed relevant the whole game. He wasn't scared to take those fights. And his farm game, like even when it's really hard to farm, he kept the levels. Even if it meant stealing my speed buff on the other side of the map, it's fine. He stayed ahead, and he was just so effective on Ishtar and other picks. Just a really good pick. And if this is the duo lane, this anxious and smug duo lane, I think it's gonna be the duo lane to beat.
Those are heavy words. We'll have to see what the season makes of that. But Sanctified is here with pick number 12. From the ADC role, we've got Control, Alt, I, Eat. Fisher, tell me about Control.
I mean, definitely one of the best usernames in the draft. Really rolls off the tongue. But again, I do love that pick, especially looking at the gods they play a lot of Cernos, Ishtar, picks that were really, really top of the meta last season. Have no reason to think that it's not going to continue this season, and especially already shoring up their jungle and solo, getting a pick on the other side of a map that can really, really do good without the rotations you're going to get like mid lane, I think is a really smart move. I like the way the Sanctified roster is shaken up.
What about you, Cub? Do you echo these sentiments?
I really have to. This guy is so good on every ADC I've ever seen him play on. He just has that electric play style. You love to see it. We love this player. I can't wait to see what he does in season 2 here.
Speaking of a player we love to see, we've got Wild Inferno on the clock with lucky number 13. In the jungle, we've got Swagger. Cub, what do you think?
Swagga is so good. I've seen him on picks like Nemesis. One of my first really high-level competitive games I ever played in, Swagga was like Nejah, I was Merlin, and it was one of those games where I just could not do anything. He styled on me. He made me look not just bad, but like maybe the worst player ever. So Swagga has that capability of just carrying a game. He's got insane mechanical skill, and honestly, I'll say it. Swagga is one of my favorite personalities I've had to work with in my entire competitive Smite experience, and so it's good to see him here. And I think that's one of the reasons Sandman picked him, is just because Swagga is a vibe. Really good to see him.
Kingfisher, we are currently waiting room on pick number 14, and you and I casted Swagger quite a bit last season. So take us through that selection at number 13.
I mean, always just a really, really impressive jungler. Never quite seems out of the fight, especially like some of those auto attack, really heavy burst gods. So definitely interested to see what he can do. And the last jungler picked. I mean, 8 teams, you only get 13 picks before the last jungler is taken. That's pretty insane. So gonna have a lot to stack up to, but definitely a player that's gonna be up to the challenge.
Yeah, we might start seeing some different parts of the draft pool getting pulled from as we go forward. And let's find out, as we now have Eclipse's number 14 pick in. We've got Happen. Wow, 14th selection there. Happen at number 14. Cub, you might be as surprised as I am. What do you think of the 14th selection?
This was the one pick that I was shocked went, 14th overall. Happen is well known in the competitive Smite community. He's known in the more than competitive Smite community. Like, I think he's played in SPL play-ins, certainly SCC. He's just cracked. I'm so surprised he went this long. Even I remember a captain was saying, like, I'm surprised Happen went this long. I forgot he was even on this list. And so just good to see him. Can't wait to see his performances in this season.
And Kingfisher, take me through what you think as we're waiting for the Oath Keepers selection.
I really like this pick because now Eclipse is going to be the first team with a short up backline. Obviously, Happen and Spooks both play mid and ADC, so it should be able to develop a lot of really natural chemistry there, and especially with Tegvir, all their damage is off the board. These three are going to be the ones to carry those games. We've talked so much about tanky characters really running the meta right now, but I like the way that Eclipse is drafting. They're really following a good plan here, and adding Happen to any team is just going to help. It can't hurt at all.
All right, Oath Keepers has been back on the clock, and we have selection number 15 ready. Representing us in the casting world, we've got Call Me Kaizo. Fisher, take us through our brethren.
Definitely good to see him off the board. And a support main, another one we haven't seen a ton of it so far this draft. And I have to think especially Tomcat really likes getting their support early. Gonna be a really, really strong duo lane over there. Definitely excited to see what Kaizo's able to do for Oathkeepers in a really, really important role.
All right, Cub, you know the drill. Take me through what you think as we wait for Dark Omen, who is now back on the clock for pick 16.
Absolutely. One thing I love about Kaizo is during scouting grounds, he was the most down player. He was always there to fill when we needed him, and I would like to think that the captains valued that. Kaizo is an insane player. Don't get me wrong, but his willingness to practice and perform was unmatched in scouting grounds, and I think that's really valuable to practice with the team. I had no idea how good he was, though. He sent me a bunch of his clips today. The guy is cracked. He's an insane support, crazy plays, as good mechanical player as I've seen, and just really can fill any role. So really good pick here coming from Tomcat.
All right, and boy, do I have exciting news. Cleaning up the second round, we have Dark Omen back on the clock. Get out the guns and get out the spell check because we've got tank tops. Fisher, walk me through and maybe check the spelling.
Yeah, unfortunately, two S's, not two P's, but still plenty OP in his role. Another really, really great ADC taken off the board, and one that's bringing in a ton of experience from other leagues. Definitely going to be a player that knows how to pace themselves, knows how to keep the team on track, and that can't be overlooked in a role that sometimes does get overlooked as ADC. Going to be really, really crucial to the success of this team.
All right, Cub, clean us off. Give us our last thoughts as we finish up round number 2.
Everyone knows tank tops. Everyone knows his two S's. That's really all I gotta say. Sorry, tank tops. You gotta get memed on sometimes. Get right, kid.
All right. With that, we are at round 3. But before we get into that, we're actually going to take a bit of a short break as we have an exciting announcement here on the Smite Draft League. We have gotten to partner with a very exciting person, but I think I'm going to let the announcement speak for itself. We will see you back here in 10 minutes. Don't keep us waiting. Enjoy what you're going to see.
I could get drunk off the lights of a city. Late night phone calls just to say you miss me, but you don't. No, you don't. Drop my phone now, that shit's broken. 2 a.m. and I'm lost in Brooklyn, missing home. I know you don't. When we were on, I'd always thought we would make it, but now you're gone. Baby, you're a ghost. I'm caught up in a landslide, mental on the low end. When I used to feel alive, now there's a hole in the city, can't feel shit. Where do I go? Cause I know you don't feel this. Can't catch a break for God's sakes. Feel like I'm waking up and I'm caught in the wake. Yeah, I know this is my funeral on parade. I did it to myself cause I always thought you would feel the same, and I know you don't. Drunk off the lights of a city, late night phone calls just to say you miss me, but you don't. No, you don't. Drop my phone now, that shit's broken. 2 a.m. and I'm lost in Brooklyn, missing home. I know you don't. Let's hit the brakes. I'm pulling out the parachute, jumping out the plane. You had it all in front of you, nothing feels the same. It's crazy what love can do, even crazier when it's not coming back to you. You say you need space, so I gave you all the states. Every night a different place. Used to think we're getting closer, now we're drifting away. And all I can say is that I'm feeling wasted. I could get drunk off the lights of a city. Late night phone calls just to say you miss me, but you don't. No, you don't. always thought we would make it. Now you're gone. Pull another of your cigarettes out. Fuck, I always feel so burned out. I never smoked before I met you. Now I chain smoke the way I like to kiss you. Cause I know you're with them while I'm here, staring at a red light. Stopped, windows down, cursing at the street signs. When every road could lead me back to the memories that we once had, yeah. Tell me how this so easily falls apart. Cause damn, you still fucking have my heart. And all I have is another of your cigarettes lit, but not a single fuck left to give. I could explode, I feel like gasoline when you're mad at me. Lit a match in the wind, so I'm asking please. I try to cope, go through the motions, no, I got a noose around my throat. Fuck, I love you, but I know that I should let you go. Situations got me pressed in, I'm on overload. I'm on overload, so another of your cigarettes out. Fuck, I always feel so burned out. I never smoked before I met you. Now I chain smoke the way I like to kiss you. Cause I know you're with them while I'm here, staring at a red light. Stopped, windows down, cursing at the street signs. When every road could lead me back to the memories that we once had, yeah. Tell me how this so easily falls apart. Cause damn, you still fucking have my heart. Tell me how this so easily falls apart. Cause damn, you still fucking have my heart. And all I have is another of your cigarettes lit. Fuck a conversation, put your lips on me, yeah, I crave the attention. Lost on you, different dimensions, take me away. So fuck a conversation, bite my lips so I can taste your affection. Caught on you, tunnel vision, I can't see anybody else but you. Rather get lost in the inspiration. Mornings tangled in the sheets with you. And you said, fuck a conversation. I can't read your eyes for my motivation. Morning comes and I'm taken. I won't see anybody else but you.
All right, we are back. Please, everybody, make sure you go and subscribe to Later on YouTube and check out Later Spotify. We are going to be using Later's music for this entire season, so a gigantic thank you to Later for hanging out with us simpletons here at the Smite Draft League. And a big thank you to you guys for all these subscriptions and the hype train early on. Every single bit is appreciated and goes towards the prize pool. All right. Let's get on to the next thing we've got, which is we had a community art contest. And let me tell you, they were all so good. Well, we couldn't choose. So let's take a look at some of the gorgeous art that we picked to showcase to you tonight.
I don't wanna feel as cold as the winter.
All right, I hope you're enjoying it so far. In the top left, we've got Ratatasker sitting atop a tree, branch of the World Tree. Yggdrasil looking down upon a city knight. This was by Captain Jacob. Baron and Snoop, how can that not be one of the most fantastic things you have ever seen? Then we've got Hovering Death. We've got Kakulin going Unga Bunga Mode by Soulsy, one of my favorites. We've got Untitled from Skunky Sweat here in the bottom on the left. And then we've got After Everything Is Over, when there's no more death, he's left alone to tend and finish his drink by Troll Academy. That could have gone in a Twilight book. Then we've got Untitled by Remarkable Wolf and Kingdom of Kukulkan by our own Kingfisher, creative for being a caster. Normally our minds are a bit more simple than that. We'll let you hang out, look at the art for a second more, and then we'll get right back into the draft.
Soft as you're breathing, you left me alone. I miss the late nights, 'cause you were my safe ride. Now I drive alone. I miss you sleeping.
All right, welcome back. And just a bit of a reminder here, if you want to continue to use that AI bot among your friends, we have our Discord premium set up. We've got tons of different benefits with it, including casting lessons, private parts of the Premium Degenerates podcast, emotes, and more. There's a ton to mention there, so be sure to join and use the Midjourney bot among your friends in the premium section of our Discord. But let's stop waiting. We've got drafting to do. So let's get to it. I've still got Kingfisher. I still have Cub with me, and we've got the 17th pick ready to go. From Dark Omen, we've got Stylus. Kingfisher, walk me through Stylus.
And now we're going to see the first solo laner, or I guess kind of frontliner of the third round taken off the board. Should slot in really, really well with the rest of the team. Interesting to see it picked a little far down, though a lot of other teams have been focusing on solo laners. That being said, still one of the best we have in our Discord, can do more than keep up with anyone else on this page. Really excited to see what he brings to Dark Omen.
I think it's going to bring a lot, and so far Dark Omen is being rounded out as a strong team, managing the first 16th, 17th pick. Fantastic. Now coming up with pick number 18, Oathkeepers has been on the clock, and we've got our selection locked in. Number 18, Oathkeeper selects Cutest Eevee. Cub, talk about Eevee.
I shall do just that. Cutest Eevee, a really, really good mid laner. Obviously, a Masters level mid laner. Plays at a Grandmaster level, without a doubt. I've seen this player in all sorts of different leagues. I think he's played in other leagues I'm not going to name. I almost did. Why would I even give him that credit? Eevee's our player now. But a really good pickup. I think just the mindset that Tomcat was having was, well, I've got my support, I've got my carry, I've got my jungle. What's next? The mid laner. And I think he looked through a list, and Cutest Eevee was there. And so a really good pick. I think the strongest mid laner that was left. Not to insult anyone again, but yeah, really good pick here.
Cub, always the tactful one. All right, moving on. We've got Eclipse locking in number 18. And speaking of returning champions, the band is almost back together. Ace Concept is locked in at number 19. Kingfisher, you and I had the pleasure of casting alongside Cosmic Warrior for Premier Finals, and we saw Ace Concept go crazy on Eclipse. Just missed out on our MVP voting to Rat Milk. Talk me through what you see so far from Eclipse as we wait for Wild Inferno.
Yeah, I mean, when we look over Ace Concept, even the whole team, like you said, a lot of returning players, Spooks and Ace Concept, were on the team together that ended up taking home the Premier Championships. So already good to have that built-in chemistry. That being said, Ace Concept an ADC main, and a really, really good one, but you already have two other backliners on the team with Spooks and Happen, so I'd be interested to see how they're going to work their roles out, or maybe if they do more of a rotational setting without a traditional sub. It's a thing we see teams go for, and it can really keep all your drafts, your god picks and bans really, really fresh and kind of hard to figure out. So I do like this draft from Spooks, and I'm really excited to see what he does with it.
I think you definitely hit the nail on the head there with what we look to see from Eclipse. Definitely one of the strongest teams so far in this draft. Wild Inferno, looking to compete, though, has locked in pick number 20. We've got Frag Nick. Cub, talk to me about the ADC.
Ragnick is just that. He is the ADC. Going through his player profile when he was signing up to play in Smite Draft League here, his primary role ADC, his secondary role ADC, and his tertiary role also ADC. So the man knows what he wants, and I think this is a great pick from Sandman Sam.
Hey, there's something respectable about that, though. You're definitely saying this is what I'm strong at, this is what you should select me for, and this is what I will bring to your team. Sanctified, looking to see what can be brought to their team for the 21st selection. We've got locked in Chubby Ostrich. Kingfisher, talk to me about the thick bird.
Another returning player from season 1. Already done plenty of singing the praises, and a bird brother. Gotta love it, seeing more of us get drafted. But I mean, looking past that, a support in mid main plays both of them really, really well, so it's gonna slot in great with the rest of Sanctified's roster. They don't have either of those picks yet, so it's really gonna keep them open going into round 5 as well. But no matter where he plays, Chubby Ostrich is gonna be a big, big help to this team and should really help to round them out.
And I think having a rounded out team like that is incredibly important. You've got to get everything clicking. You've got to make sure you've got everything covered. And that's before you can even start discussing and figuring out your roles and such. 22nd pick is about to come up, and it's coming from Flourish. At number 22, they have locked in Icon. Cub, tell me about the L Icon.
What can I say other than I like on this pick? Thank you, everyone. I'll be here all night. No, great pick. He can play any role. This player can play any role. Has played many leagues before. I'm interested to see where he's gonna go because all of these players on Flourish are pretty good flex players. We know Smugs. I think we have the duo lane picked out. I know Lycan does main jungle. I'm interested to see where this player goes.
I am too, and I think that's one of the tougher parts about the draft is when you've got a bunch of players that have very varied roles. You got to figure out what's best, but sometimes what's best might not be best for even the captain, which is going to start to create some figuring out to do. But that's where the strengths come from. We saw that from a lot of teams, especially in Challenger last season. All right, moving on forward, we've got pick number 23 coming out from Kuwait. It's gonna be Wacky. Kingfisher, tell me about the Wackinator.
I mean, just really continuing the theme this round, a lot of players that played in the first season of the SDL. In addition to that, a lot of ADCs. I think, third, fourth one this round, and one that, like the others, we've been saying it all the time, brings a ton of value to any team, plays the X-Ball that you love so much. So definitely excited to see that winning game. And another pick that I feel like is really going to synergize with the rest of this roster. All the captains are doing a really good job prioritizing in this draft, and gets a strong player at pick number 23, looking really good for Kingslayers.
Yeah, it's starting to be crazy to see the quality of player that's still available as we're in the 20s now of this draft. It definitely speaks to the quality of the players in our league. And you can't talk about quality without getting some rest, right? Well, Sunbreakers at number 24, select Snoozism!
Snoozism himself, yes. This is another pick. Like, I'm surprised he went this low. He's one of the strongest solo laners I've ever seen. It seems like he values like the healing type solo laners, the Guans and the Shivas of the world. But
Right.
This player can play any pick that I've ever seen him on. And I've seen him in so many different leagues. It is insane. And he always plays at the top level in the top divisions of each of those leagues. I'm so excited to see Snoozism here. And I just want to say, we missed out on some of my favorite people to talk about. We skipped over me for Wecky, Chubby, and Ace Concept. Hello all, it's good to see you. I can't wait to see what you guys do.
That's the unlucky thing about having Kingfisher. I just like hearing him talk, but Cub, we will definitely get more points from you going forward. In fact, we'll go right back to you after we get our next pick, which will be number 25, coming from the Sunbreakers. We watched them deal with an overwhelming force in Scouting Grounds, but they hung on tight. We've got Reblossomed. Cub, take it away.
Yes, indeed. Yeah, Reblossomed, an ADC player, aka Squeaks. I've heard of this player before. I haven't personally seen them play that much, so I don't have too many points to talk on. But I know a very strong player, and I know I've heard the name Squeaks tossed around here and there. Excited to see what Reblossom does in our league here.
Yeah, ADC is definitely an important role to start getting squared away. We saw that before with Weki for sure as well. All right. Heading up next, we got pick number 26 coming out of the Kingslayers. We've got LX Afterlife XL Xbox players, baby. Love names like that. Kingfisher, tell me about the Halo player.
I mean, you definitely gotta add in the L's and the X's. It doesn't really have the same effect otherwise, but it should be a really good pick. I mean, Afterlife should go really well with the rest of the team, and mid-main, more than that, bring some really interesting players into the mix. Merlin, Giannis, Morgan, some of those harder to execute ones that you don't want to ban out against, but he is gonna make you have to target ban. So a really, really smart pick here. Excited to see what Afterlife is gonna be able to do on the Kingslayers. Already shaping up to be a super, super stacked roster.
Yeah, the Kingslayers might be one of the sleeper rosters so far. A lot of picks kind of sneaking through to the Kingslayers. It's impressive drafting there by Quay. Flourish coming in. Pick number 27 is ready to go. And who is it? It's Oreo! Cub! Tell me about the tasty snack and the player.
It is Milk's favorite cookie, as they say, and Miggy's favorite player, maybe. Oreo is a really, really good player. Had some really good performances in our scouting grounds, actually. And in contrast to Afterlife, who was just picked, another keyboard mouse player. I just want to shout out to Afterlife for representing the controller gang. Oreo, I hope you hang with Afterlife. He got picked before you. Step up the keyboard mouse game.
Yeah, I gotta hold on strong and try to defend against the goats on the sticks. All right, Sanctified is on the clock. We got pick number 28 coming in. Support mains unite. We've got Less Lord. Kingfisher, talk to me about the support going to Sanctified.
I love this pick. One of the supports I was looking at coming into this draft that looked a little bit undervalued, had a really, really strong scouting game rather. I know we were really singing their praises there, but the picks like the Maui, the Fenrir just bring so much pressure to a role you always think is kind of passive. You know, they just do what they do. They help a little bit, bringing a ton of energy and a lot of pace to a team already with picks like Value and Heed and the solo and jungle. This is going to be an aggressive team, and Les Lord should really, really help him accomplish that. Great pick for number 28.
Number 28 locked in, and number 29 quick to follow. Wild Inferno for number 29 selects. Speaking of supports, put them up. We got Digits going to Wild Inferno. Cub, talk to me about Digits.
Yes, Digits, aka Banana, because he be peeling, aka Scapesso. He's one of my favorite players I've had to deal with. I'm gonna say deal with, work with, maybe. I don't know. I just love his personality, and he is cracked at support. He be peeling. That's all I can say about this player. Just great personality to have. Sandman Sam. I'm just liking this draft the way it looks already. Not just from a skill standpoint, but from the vibe standpoint, it is unmatched. He's got the vibiest team by far. I'm gonna say it. I'm not even gonna apologize to anyone else. It's good to see.
That's one of the most important things, and that could kind of go overlooked on these drafts. I mean, it's very easy to just go through and select skill, but if when you get in the comms, if everybody's not clicking on the same page, it's it's not gonna be the greatest time. Let's see how Eclipse decides they want to keep rounding out their comms. Pick number 30, coming in for Eclipse, we've got Bean Soup Bob! Kingfisher, great username. Talk to me about him.
I was just gonna mention that. I mean, I know I said Control Alt I had one of the best usernames, but Bean Soup Bob, it's iconic, and more than that, it was scary in the scouting grounds. Had a really strong game on the Vamana, and a really competent solo laner that should balance the rest of this team perfectly. Especially him and Tegvir. That is a scary long lane to be going against. Plays a lot of high pressure ticks. picks, the Vamana, the tier, it's definitely a really, really good pairing with the playstyle of this team. Beansoup Bob, best username, even better mechanical skills. Really excited to see what they're going to be able to do for the team. Definitely going to be a fun player to watch.
Beansoup Bob is going to be a fun player to watch, and I echo the draft. W. Bob Draft. Oathkeepers, number 31. Coming in hot, we've got Jungle Mid Halo. Cub, tell me about Halo.
Good old Halo. We already talked about LX Afterlife being the Halo player. Well, this is the player Halo. He is a solo laner, has played in other leagues before. GM, keyboard, mouse. What's there more to say about him? He is obviously a very skilled player. Excited to see where he goes on this team. I'd suspect solo, but we're going to find out.
We are also going to find out how Dark Omen is going to go for pick number 32. And with pick number 32, Dark Omen has selected Carlos Ryder! Kingfisher, match my energy and tell me about Carlos.
I don't know. I don't think I've ever been able to do that and may never will, but I can definitely say Carlos Ryder going to be a really, really strong selection, especially as far down as 32. You really don't get much more value than that. A support and solo player and a really, really versatile one. Listed Yamoja, Maui, Athena, some of the favorite gods. It's a really diverse roster and it's going to provide so much potential to Dark Omen to do a lot of different things with their draft. Going to be really hard to ban out against. And more than that, going to be a really good contributor. So Carlos Ryder should definitely find a really, really good spot on this roster.
For sure, Carlos Ryder. Rounding off the first 5, we're starting to head into what could be flex pick / sub territory. But before we get into that, we've got a couple small announcements that we would like to make for you from the Smite Draft League. First of all, big thank you for being here for the Godlike draft. We have our Immortal draft and our Divine draft still to happen. Keep your eyes out for the Immortal draft on February 24th, around the same time, and tentatively keep your eye out for the Divine draft on the 27th around the same time. We're getting a lot of drafts to you very quickly. But what do those drafts lead to, you might wonder? Well, the end of the season, there's a prize pool. And last season, thanks to the gracious community of the Smite Draft League, our prize pool was $1,500 that was generously donated by the community. And this year, we're giving back to those who donate by giving custom merch to those who donate $25 to the prize pool. In order to donate to the prize pool, all you have to do is go into the Discord, and from there it gets easy. Just look for the donation channels, and it'll walk you through all the steps you need to do. Our community is driven by the prize pool and these donations, and that's what makes this place so fun to play and so competitive. We'll have charity events throughout the year, all going towards this, and every bit of proceeds we get goes towards that goal. Also, another announcement, because we're going to keep rolling, is in order to streamline our content, we have decided to move our games for the regular season to YouTube. They will be premiering just as you've seen if you've been in the Discord for the last month or so. We will record them, and about a week later, you will see them premiere on YouTube. The games will go up. They'll have a live chat ready for you to talk and go crazy as the games premiere, and you get to see all these players go nuts. Twitch will be used primarily for special events such as this draft, some tournaments here and there, as well as, of course, because we have to have the live chat for the finals, our finals will be live on Twitch. So make sure you go over to the Smite Draft League YouTube and check it out and subscribe. We also have other content there. We've got the Premium Degenerates podcast if you want to learn more about our owner, iNooblet. We got Jeffrey's Corner if you fancy being a bit flirted with by a handsome EU prince. And I gotta say, so far the content has been crazy, and it's gonna be non-stop. And with that, I think we are about ready to go into what will be the last round of this draft. Let's start talking about it. So, as we go into pick number 33, coming from Dark Omen, we've got, oh, if you've watched Fast and Furious, you know it's coming. It's family and friends first. We've got Akat, aka Taka, going to Dark Omen. Cub, this one is designed for you to talk about.
That he was. Yeah, we love to see Taka here. We know Power and Taka just good friends and good teammates. We saw them last year on Dark Omen, so it's good to see some of the Dark Omen squad staying together because they were putting on electric performance after electric performance. And we just love the Friends squad. Not all the time, but in this case, we'll allow it. Really fun pick here, and can't wait to see what Taka can do in this flex pick here.
Taka with one of my favorite moments from season 1 with the execute and the triple kill, defending and saving the game, leading to a victory for Dark Omen. Team name being run back as well for the boys in purple. All right. Oathkeepers is up next with pick number 34. Oathkeepers select Sir Senor Bindy at number 34. Kingfisher, talk to me.
Yeah, definitely have to figure out if it's Sir or Senor, but Bindy nonetheless a really, really good addition, and especially for being a sub, it doesn't really get much better. Plays solo, plays mid, plays jungle, gonna provide a lot of flexibility to this roster. Oathkeepers already have a really, really strong lineup, and just gonna be able to slot so easily in with all of them. Definitely expect the chemistry to be flowing, and plays a variety of gods as well. I mean, you can't really get much more versatile with a sub, not a support, but still, I mean, a really good pick, really strong. Yeah, should contribute a lot to this team.
Yeah, these teams are turning out to be disgusting so far. It's going to be hard to pick favorites throughout this draft. All right, Eclipse is up next on the clock. They've got pick number 35. And is that a Zeus laugh macro I hear? No, that's Storm coming in at pick number 35. Cub, talk to me about Storm.
Storm is one of these players that has been everywhere. I know he's played in, I think, SCC Combine, played in every league at the highest division, and plays some funky picks in mid. I have been so impressed with Storm. As long as I've known him, as long as I've seen him play, every time I see him play, I'm impressed. It's just kind of crazy that we still have this level of talent going. Even round 35, it is absurd the player pool we have. And I'm just so thankful we have them all. But Storm, I'm excited to see what she can do. And I hope he can prove to Spooks, hey, you're more than just a sixth man. I can't wait to see you play.
Like you said, this draft runs so deep. There's talent everywhere, and it just speaks to the quality of the Smite Draft League. Continuing, the quality is Wild Inferno, about to lock in pick number 36. And who is it, you might ask? It is Tiramatize coming in at pick number 36. And G, what kind of characters do you think the Tiramatize plays, Kingfisher?
Definitely Scylla. 100%. I mean, Scylla and Tyr, such
I
an
agree.
iconic combo. But no, it's the Tyr. It's all the Tyr, and luckily for him, plays all the roles that Tyr can play in solo, support, jungle. I mean, we've already talked about there's some of the strongest roles in the game right now, so definitely like to see Wild Inferno taking a player that's going to be able to be of really good use to them in that respect. Definitely, hopefully, expect to see him get some playing time as well. Really, really strong player, and on a roster like this, it can really only get better. I mean, just adding value. You love to see it. Really, really good pick.
You set me up gorgeous there, didn't you, Kingfisher? Speaking of adding value, the captain of Sanctified Value selects for pick number 37, CL Woke. Cub, are you woke? Tell me about CL.
I stay woke, but who stays woker is CL Woke. He's not only a handsome streaming boy, but he is a great player. ADC main, but has just an insane support. I think this was such a good pick. Not only because he's handsome, I'm gonna harp on that once more, but because he just can play every role so well and so effectively. I think no matter who on his squad might have a sick day or whatever, I think he's gonna be able to take up that mantle and fill that spot very well.
And that's going to be huge going forward for Sanctified, keeping that team locked down. Flourish, pick number 38's up, and who is it, you might ask? Nooblet, I can already hear him screaming with joy because from the support role of one of the nastiest Mauis you ever did see, Flourish selects Oswald Jr. Kingfisher, tell me about that disgusting Maui.
I mean, disgusting doesn't even begin to cover one of the cleanest scouting ground games we saw. I almost thought they lost or left the league. I was like, really? They didn't get picked yet? But finally at pick 38 locked in, and I love this for Flourish. I mean, we've already talked a lot about how great a scouting grounds experience they had, and if they're able to continue that style of play, should definitely be one of the best supports in the league, I would think. You can't go wrong with this pick. Really, really strong and adds a ton of value to Flourish, who already didn't need it. I mean, definitely going to be a dominant team.
Yeah, I know I just said it with Cub, but these depth charts are the depth doesn't even begin to describe it. That is, as we're seeing in chat, that is a steal at number 38. But let's go to pick number 39. The King Slayers round out their team by locking in Dragoon X. Cub, tell me, is the extra X needed? Are you excited about Dragoon?
It is needed because that X symbolizes 10 leagues that he's left. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Dragoon, the on her one trick, perhaps. No, he's a great player. I love Dragoon. I'm just razzing him. He's a buddy of mine. Really really solid player. If I were on Quay's team here on the Kingslayers, I would be careful. Whatever role you're in, Dragoon might just take that. I think it's criminal that he went this late in the draft.
We'll have to see how the season plays out, see if that becomes the truth. And with that, we're on to our last pick. After this pick is locked in, gentlemen, I'd like to hear from you both before we wrap things up. So coming in, final pick of the Season 2 Godlike draft, the Sunbreakers, led by Zombie, have selected Windfall, the support. Kingfisher, start us off.
I mean, in the NFL draft, he'd be called Mr. Irrelevant, but gonna be anything but in this league. A really, really strong pick. Again, falling a little bit, but a good support. Plays a lot of really good gods, too. I mean, Athena, Khepri, Fafnir. Those are gods you like to have on your team. They always feel good, and being able to bring that to the Sunbreakers is gonna be invaluable. I mean, the last pick, sure, but a really, really strong one. Definitely don't overlook Windfall in this league.
You definitely cannot. Cub, tell us about this final pick. And if you can, even a bit of a wrap up of what you've seen this draft, because something I'm noticing right away is the players that are still left between the potential free agent pools. We've got the waterfall draft is kind of absurd.
Absolutely. I just want to echo that. The player pool is absurd. And just looking at the notes here, we have plenty of GMs left. I think we have 4, 5, 6, I don't know, maybe up to 10 GMs that weren't even drafted here, which unfortunately those players can't fall down in this waterfall to the next immortal division. So I suspect with captains, still figuring out their rosters, they're going to see if they can vibe, and those players can still vie for a spot on these teams. Overall, I can't even look at this list and say who has the top team, but maybe the best team is the friends we made along the way. Am I right?
I think you're right. And I think the big takeaway here is one, like you said, even for the players that cannot waterfall, I mean, there is a much tighter lock on teams this season. And you would think, hey, that makes it harder to get in. I think that makes it almost better to be a free agent. You are waiting in the wings. You are the go-to. And if you are gone to, then you are going to be a team's savior. You're not just a free agent. You are a difference maker waiting in the wings. And that could be said for the people who can waterfall as well, and what they could bring to both Immortal and Divine. This season is shaping up to be absolutely absurd, and Godlike Division will lead the way. Gentlemen, any last thoughts before we head on out of here? We'll start with you, Fisher.
I mean, I think you covered it really well. It's definitely going to be one of our more intense divisions in the league. And I mean, we talked about it with every pick. There's so many good players, so many different play styles, different things they can bring to teams. If you're not drafted, it's not the end of the world. There is going to be time. We saw it plenty last season. Rosters change, different metas, different impacts from players, and it's going to be a strong league. I'm really excited to watch it. It should be incredibly competitive too. There's nothing bad to say about this draft at all.
Cub, your final thoughts.
Yeah, I really, really love this draft. I'm so excited to get into season 2 here. And Anthony, I wish there was a way that we could see like the skill level of these players. Like maybe, I don't know, like a montage or like, I don't know, just maybe some clips or something. I don't know. Can you do something like that?
I might be able to do that. We'll have to see. I'll try to snap my fingers here in about 30 seconds, and we'll see exactly what happens. Thank you so much to everybody who's showed up tonight to watch the Godlike Division draft. A reminder, we still have the Immortal draft left to go on the 24th. We've got the Divine draft left to go on the 27th, and we've got a season ahead of us that is sure to not disappoint. These are your Godlike Division teams. I have been Anthony Malum. I knew what was taking us through production. Cub and Kingfisher join me. A big thank you to Later. A big thank you to Safe Access. You'll see why in a moment. A thank you to the subs. A thank you to the players. And a thank you to the viewers. Season 2 is going to be our best season yet. We, the team, cannot wait to bring it to you. And with that, I'm going to give it my best shot. I'll snap my fingers. We'll see what happens. Enjoy your night. We'll see you next time on the Smite Draft League.
Once in two, Just Me Dre has to use the ult to try and stay alive. Not gonna work. Tomcat gets it.
Godlike is shaping up to be truly the best the Smite Draft League has to offer.
Milk 7, 2, and 3. And look at the support. One. Oh, wait, he's in the fountain! No way! Oh!
Buff is coming up off cooldown. Let's go and try to strip it away.
Slemmy will not survive, and that is a solo kill in the jungle for Valo and Reverse Card.
Our friend Swag here, as he moseys on over to the dual lane to pop some people in the jaw, does indeed have looks to have sacrificed that golden lane. Wait, hold on. Someone else just got sacrificed. And Stalis dropped for the Goonies. Nicely done there. The gank is continuing, though, and looking to be in quite a bit of danger. Going to need a forward retreat. Not going to be able to get out. Dragon pushing Ostrich away, trying to peel for himself, and Teague gets the triple kill, and they're finishing off Dragoon, and that is a quadra kill for Teague, and a deicide for Terminator. Can they go on Jay Swervy? Blink in there, gonna be his Blizzard dropped onto it, staying in there, gonna be able to retreat out. Oh, nearly drawn out, but he actually does manage to get it for just left side. Meanwhile, Rama's going up, everyone's going up, and it looks like he's trying to send him down to the town there, but not quite enough. And excellent job from Nick, able to pick up the kill.
Oh, the execute! Taka gets the kill! Taka's chasing down Didactic now! Taka's gonna find it! Titans about to fall, and Eclipse decided that they wanted game! And with that, I welcome you, alongside the entire team, to the Godlike Division for the Smite Draft League Season 2.